there's a lot of success that I heard that says that your income is correlated with how many people you can impact. So if you're a window cleaner, you're limited to that specific building you're working on.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're doing something that's digital,
Yeah.
you can scale. Like you can be a YouTuber with 5 million subscribers, and that's a lot of impact compared to what a window cleaner can do.
Right.
Like sure, you can do it the window cleaner way, but that's kind of the old fashioned method of like, oh, maybe I hire people on, I'll build a business. That's what takes more time. And I think, like the billionaires of the 90s, or not the 90s, but the 1900s were like, they took a long time to get there. I think now it's more possible. But obviously it's still hard. There's a reason they're billionaires.
Yeah.
It's because they're doing something that's right. All right, everybody. Well, welcome back to Bluntly Bears. Yeah, I just got to switch on the podcast mode. You know what I mean? No, welcome back to Bluntly Bears. I'm here today with my good friend, Nick Stolyaroff,
I guess you can call. Thank you for having me.
Some people can call it that.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, if you need some more slack there, I can get you some.
There we go. That works. Much nicer.
Yeah, I'm here with my friend Nick, who I've known for a very long time. So it's cool to have you here and learn a little bit more about the stuff that I haven't ever asked about. Your deepest, darkest secrets. But no, Nick right now is working in the logistics space, as a dispatcher, and such. But I guess maybe to start things off, if you want to let us know in your own words, what do you do?
What am I doing?
Yeah, what are you currently doing?
You want me to do the basics or you want me to break it down?
Dive in, bro.
Break it down. Okay. So in my industry, we can call it as a dispatcher. But if you break it down, so you have, say in the trucking industry, so we have manufacturers, which are called shippers. These guys have product, produce, whatever that needs to be shipped out. They have a large demand that needs to be transported. So who do they give to? Brokers. Brokers are the guys who then coordinate these shipments. Like they're like a middleman between drivers and manufacturers, brokers. In between brokers and a driver is me, a middleman who is quote unquote a dispatcher, freight coordinator, whatever title you want to make it up with. But from the broker, I take the loads, I coordinate a route for my drivers, see what's profitable for them, what's worth it for them. And, I book the loads, I dispatch it, make everything according to their schedule, give it to the driver for a percentage they do and they do the work. It's kind of like down the chain of customer, broker, dispatcher, driver. And such. Kind of break
like
it. That's
pyramid,
kind of like a pyramid, yeah. It's like trickle down economics for them.
Trickle down economics. There you go. So brokers are working with dispatchers. So with your company specifically, and
with
other
the company.
companies
specifically.
Yeah. And the brokers, they don't have a fleet, so they come to a company like yours to get those.
Here and there. So there's some big brokers like TQL, Total Quality Logistics. They are one of the biggest freight brokers in the U.S. and they don't have any fleet. They don't have any trucks. They're mainly only freight brokers. A lot of the other guys, they have their own fleets. So my theory, kind of checks out as well. But like most of them have their own fleets, and whatever they can't source with their own trucks, they kind of throw it out and they broker it out to us, who can cover it, with our own drivers. Because I work with some big guys out in like Tacoma. He calls me, he's like, "Hey, buddy, I got this load here and there. I can't cover with my guys. Do you have capacity?" A couple other guys here in Portland, big guy as well. He's like, "Hey, I have this run. I don't have a driver for it. Do you have a driver for it? Can you cover?" I'm like, "Hey, yeah, sure, no problem." And they pay decent. They make it worth our driver's while. So we take it, and it works.
So why not go straight to the manufacturer? Why does there need to be that middleman?
That's a good goal to do. It's a little tough because like some big manufacturers, I'm trying to think of some big guys that I work with. So there's Fulcrum Logistics down in Portland on Lombard Street. I think they are a beer distributor, to be honest, or they deliver to Columbia Distributing, which is a beer distributor. But like this guy's, also you're a small company, you know. Maybe if you're a big guy with like 100 plus trucks and you'd be like, hey, you know, I got 100 trucks, send me all the work, I can figure something out.
Sure.
But, you know, I think what the big customer would be like, they would have, you know, like a bunch of lanes. Lanes are like different, you know, routes they have. Like Fulcrum Logistics, I love these guys. I think they work like, they have northbound, like a bunch of northbound freight, southbound, local stuff, long haul, like eastbound, like way east to the US, regional stuff. So it's like, you know, as a small carrier, like, oh, I want to work with you guys. Like, okay, here's, you know, 15 loads a week. Can you cover? You're like, I got like one truck, you know,
Yeah.
I can't do anything. So it's a little bit, that's the goal. I think the ultimate goal is to work with customers. Customers are, you know, manufacturers, these
Sure.
producers, big guys. That's kind of like the goal.
Yeah. So instead of, that makes sense. So when it's a large company that requires a lot of transportation, they go to a broker because that broker has more capacity. And if they don't, they can like,
Yeah, they have more capacity, more connections. Because I mean, they post it up on a load board. Load boards like where we find our work. They'll post it up. You know, and any carrier can see it. They can, you know, call, ask about it, and they can book it. A lot easier than, you know, a customer trusting, you know, one carrier to do everything. Kind of like, I don't even know the word for it, but I think it's easier just to outsource it to a broker and let them just deal with it, take care of it.
yeah, more peace of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm sure it's also more expensive for the customer, like because there has to be that middleman and the fees and stuff. Like,
I don't know about expense wise. We don't see that side of. That's kind of like not like a dirty side of the business, but it's like customer pays, you know, a customer like the rate to the broker.
yeah,
The broker takes, you know, it's kind of unregulated on our in this side because of like capitalism. But you know, they pay like I can break it down like so we do a per mile rate. Let's say they pay the broker like $4 per mile for like a 1,000 mile trip, so 4,000. The broker can then either do like a cut of whatever they seem profitable for the industry for the market, you know, post it for like $3 a mile, and we'll book it. Or like how right now there's a freight winter and it's, you know, there's not a lot of capacity. They'll post it up for like $2 a mile, you know, like whatever. So they'll pocket $2,000, give it to us for $2,000, and you can't do anything to the broker because you need the work.
yeah,
And if you say no, I don't want your work, though, okay, someone else will take it, and you're stuck without work. You know,
yeah.
it's a little bit of a
So the profit,
tough industry.
the profit is in the brokerage side.
Honestly, I think so. Yeah, because they're the ones who get the work. They can see the rates, and they can like either take a small cut, a big cut. Right now, it's kind of like it's a tough time in the market right now because a lot of brokers are like they see areas that there's a lot of trucks sitting in, like they need work, and they'll post it up. Like just say like I assume like it'll be like $3,000. They're posting stuff up for like $1,000.
Wow,
I know you're pocketing $2,000,
wow.
but they're posting it for $1,000. Oh, I don't have that much money. The customer isn't paying me. I know the customer's paying you. Kind of like a dirty business, you know, slightly.
That's what I hear about the transportation business. Yeah, and so that makes sense, and that's why I think there were some ambitions at your company to kind of start up a brokerage arm.
Yeah, we wanted to, but they kind of wanted me to head it up, but there was no like clear like job roles of what we're gonna be doing. Plus, like I'm a dispatcher too, and it was like, oh, along with your dispatching, you'll be doing brokerage.
Yeah,
And I'm like, you know, I didn't feel like properly compensated for it. What they were offering me at the time.
ooh, hot take.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to do it. Like, okay, that's fine. And they just kind of threw it aside. I mean, honestly, I'm like, that's double the work, double the time, double the effort. It's all on me.
Yeah,
Anything goes bad, it's all on me. And I'm like, if I'm not being compensated, you know, at the end of the day, sure, I like doing what I'm doing, but like, if you're not getting paid a decent amount for doing something like that, you know, I like helping people, but
referencing something.
referencing your older.
Yeah, no, but it's funny how, man, I work in my company with a lot of smaller businesses and startups all the time, and you'll come across those like, those scenarios where the founders or the owners or whatever, they're super budget conscious, but they also want to do so much.
Yeah.
And they're like, and I talk to like, heads of different departments a lot, and then you can hear it like, yeah, we're trying to do a million things with one person. Like it's crazy to me. Like I work with this one guy who literally does like 4 different jobs, and he's working with me on a project that's not even part of his main job. Like, and it's just crazy to me to think about like there's people out there that wear so many hats, and sometimes it's cool. I feel like it kind of exposes you in different opportunities, but hopefully you're your compensation is
Yeah,
also.
because at the end of the day, yeah, like I'm down to do stuff, but it's like I'll put so much time and effort into it, and if you're not being compensated for, like, people are motivated. We were talking about this with my manager, who's also my brother, but a couple other people in the company. But we're like, you want to be properly motivated to work there, and if it's you make a good environment and you pay a decent wage and it's like livable wage, it's a good wage. I'm down to work. I'm down to be dedicated. And either when I started, I was dedicated.
Yeah.
Wasn't making that much money. I got raises here and there, but I like what I'm doing. But if you're trying to throw on even more work, like double my workload, but not increase any of my pay, it's kind of like, what's the point,
Yeah, no, I mean, there's kind of like a line there, because I remember when I was working at Sears and I was trying to get promoted, our old buddy Steve, our old manager, would tell me like, hey, can you start doing this? Can you start doing that? And I'm like, look, man, I feel like I'm doing so much, but I'm still making a minimum wage. I feel like it doesn't matter. He's like, well, no, you have to like prove yourself. And like, he followed through with his word. Like eventually I got promoted. I got, raises and stuff like that. So like there was like that part of having to take initiative to like earn that next position. But when you're doing it and there's no end in sight, it's like demotivating, right?
Yeah, because when you start, I understand, you kind of have to like eat crap per se, or like, like kiss ass to, make it look, it's kind of, I see in my industry, like you get a new job and they give you these, it's like two sides of this. I grew up like seeing always two sides of the story. It's like they give you this new position and you're like, okay, same rate, same salary, new position. Okay, I'm gonna prove myself. I'm gonna work on this.
Yeah.
And if it's like a professional company, they do like a quarterly review and like, oh, okay, you took on these roles, you're doing good, we'll give you a raise. But then some companies like they'll take on the role, you're doing good, and there's, like you said, no end in sight. There's no raise. You're like, hold up, it's been like 6 months I've been doing all this stuff. Where's my raise? They're like, oh, well, we'll talk about it later. Keep doing what you're doing. But like, no, you kind of have to have a fine line. And I guess some professional companies be like, okay, here are your new roles. And with these new roles, here is your pay increase. So I see kind of both sides of like, you kind of want to raise, or also you kind of want to prove yourself and just start, taking on these new roles and working on it, working hard. And then they'll see how dedicated you are. Yeah.
But it seems like that wasn't the case. Shout out to your brother, the manager. I have no ties.
No, my brother is actually, for the record, he's actually part of a different company. We have like 2 different companies on site. So.
So you said earlier though he was your manager.
Well, no, I refer to everyone there as my manager, honestly, because I don't know what to even phrase him.
Yeah, sometimes in family businesses, especially, things kind of get muddied. So.
I mean, my coworkers are all like a lot older than me, so it's like I try to say someone from the shop is like. There's one guy who's like, he's like 35, and I'm like, oh, my buddy, my coworker, I'm like, my boss, he's not my boss, but yeah.
Makes sense. So yeah, like obviously it's a family thing. How did you get started in the in this job?
Dude, do you want the long story? Or do you want the short story?
We're here for the long story, bro.
Story, yeah. Okay, so I think back in 2018, so I was working at Sears with my good old buddy Alex here. Got me a job. Shout out Alex. Shout out Buttley Bears. Got my first job at Sears at 16. But yeah, at 18, so my brother is kind of like the manager of the shop. So at our company, we have a repair shop and we have a dispatch office.
Yeah.
At that time, they were remodeling the upstairs office. And at that time, along with Sears, I worked another job with one of my other, kind of like a family friend. He's a general contractor. I worked with them, like painting, side jobs, this and that. And I was good at painting. They reached out to me back then, like, hey, Nick, do you want to repaint our upstairs office? Like everything. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's extra money. No problem. So I started painting there. That went on for like, I think a couple months. I was there working. And I was same time working at Sears. I ended up leaving Sears.
Oh yeah, on good terms, right?
On good terms, yeah. No, we had good terms. I left on Easter. I think it's been, what year is it? 2021 now, 2022. So it's about four years now that I left.
Nice.
But yeah, I left Sears on Easter. Actually, just marked. I was like, go for the record.
Bluntly Bears.
Nothing serious, but yeah. So I transferred over doing kind of like, so I remodeled the upstairs office, then we remodeled the break room, remodeled some bathrooms, and then I quit. So I left Sears and I was still working there. And my brother kind of got me a job working in the shop, kind of in the parts department and, helping out in the shop. So that was like my first like foot in the door there. I continued working there. I want to say 2 years or a year and I think 2 years, I want to say.
And you were in school at this time?
Yeah, I was in school. So I was in high school, Clackamas Community College, Clackamas Community College, middle college. It's the high school and Clackamas Community College. So I was in school at that time. I think then I was already in PSU. I think I was just starting PSU,
Okay.
Oregon State University. But then, then one of the, so he was the, I want to say like general manager of the dispatch office. Also like a family friend of mine. He's like, hey, Nate, do you want to get like, we want you into dispatch. We want to transfer you out of the shop into dispatch. Would you be okay with it? First, I was like, no, I don't want to do it. And I think like 6 months later, he's like, hey, do you want to do dispatch? Let's throw you over. I'm like, yeah, let's try it out. And that was my first transfer into there. Then after that, after like 6 more months, 3 months, they trained me, transferred out. I left the shop and I started being dispatch. So they threw me in dispatch. I did all my training, worked under one of my coworkers, and then they put me in charge of the dry van department.
The dry van?
Dry van, so that's, I don't know how to simple it down, but it's just semi-trailers that are not refrigerated. They're just like the boxes with nothing on them, in simple terms. But yeah, that's been, I want to say it's been, 3 years now, roughly. I was working under one of my coworkers. I actually have a text message I always look back to. It was August 19th or something like that. He texted me like, hey, Nick, you're in charge of this lane. He was working on this one lane out of Troutdale going to Spokane, Washington. And he texted me like, you're in charge of this. That was kind of like my, quote unquote start date of me being solo in the driving department, being like my own manager kind of per se.
Being the man, being the boss.
Yeah. So that was like the beginning of it. And it's been almost 3 years now and slowly working. It's been good.
Yeah. So this wasn't anything you ever like dreamed about doing or anything like that?
100% no. 100% no, dude. And I can say that in high school, I was like determined. I was like school. I did like early college program, did like college credits. I was trying to be a civil engineer. That was my major. That was my goal.
I thought you were going to say artist.
No. Producer, artist, rapper.
Yes.
No, but yeah, I was trying to be into civil engineering. So I went to Clackamas Community College, Early Start College, transferred over to Clackamas Community College for 2 years, got my associates. I think it's like Associates of Arts with civil engineering emphasis. I didn't even know I got it, honestly. Like, I left and I get an email like, congrats on your associates. And they mailed, I think it's somewhere in my room. They mailed it to me like, oh, sweet, I got an associate's degree. Like, cool. Transferred to PSU. I did my first year of PSU. And I think it went, I don't know if it was my first year or my second year, but it was bad. Like, I was trying to do like 3-4 classes a term. I was like averaging like B's, C's, D's. I would literally start a class, go like 2 weeks in.
That was for a civil engineering program?
Yeah. I was struggling. Like I would,
What kind of classes were these?
They were, it wasn't math. I think it started being like emphasis already in engineering. Like I think the first one I know it's like, because I failed it 2 times. CE 324. So civil engineering 324. It's like a basis of engineering, like structural design, structural this and that. But like, dude, I was not ready for it. Honestly, like I would start the class. I mean, there's some easy classes. I had like geology because there was like some elective credits. I don't even remember what else I took, honestly. But here and there was like couple B's, but I was averaging like C's, honestly. C's get degrees.
C's get degrees.
But yeah, it was tough. So then I think it was my second year in. Like my timeline's like kind of screwed up. But when did COVID start? That was like March
2020. Yeah.
2020. So that was, I think December was when like the rumors of COVID was like first beginning.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, that was winter term, winter term, and I think that was winter term, and I was finishing up on a couple of classes. I think it's like fluid like a water class, kind of cool class. But we went online. I think I got away with the B in the class, honestly. And then that was spring term, so COVID began. Everything was moved online. I was like, okay, let's try this out. I'll take it easy because I've been struggling. Like, I'm like, dude, this is tough. I want to do engineering. I'll try it out. I took 2 classes online. First class, I dropped it within 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't get a refund because I dropped it late.
Wow.
Yeah, so I lost the money on it. Second class, I think I did the same, honestly. I think I dropped it late and I didn't get the money back. Maybe like $100 back or whatever. But yeah, and I was like, you know what? I'll have to take a year off. Like this is like summer came. Let me focus on like
This was spring 2020.
yeah, that was like January, February, so March. Like yeah, when COVID began, so everything was moved, and it was like March, April, May, June. Yeah, it was like summer term. Yeah, I took off, and then I never kind of returned back because I didn't officially drop out. I think I actually get an email right now. It's been saying my account's expiring because it's been a year since I've been in school. Yeah, my PSU computer account expiry warning. So
Nice.
yeah, so it's been
It's funny because my story is like basically the same thing with school.
really.
Yeah. No, like I was always all for school growing up. I needed to pick a major or like a career I wanted to do. People told me that music recording was a fake career. Like I couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So then I had to pick something real. So I picked being a doctor because I was just ambitious. High school valedictorian. I did an early start college thing. I was always a 4.0. And then I still remember the summer. So like when I graduated college, I think I had like 80 something college degrees or credits already. So I was going into PSU as like a third year basically.
Yeah,
But the summer before that was when I got my promotion at Sears and I became a lead at Sears.
I remember that. Yeah,
And I was like, okay, this is actually kind of cool. Like this corporate world instead of like the medical world.
mm-hmm.
But, I still, I said I want to be a doctor. So I'm going to finish what I started out. And my first term at PSU, I had to take physics. And that class ruined my 4.0. And ever since then, I was like, I think I got a C, either a B or a C in that class. And ever since then, I was like, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Like if I get A's anymore, like
that was me. That was me because high school 4.0. So I started college class. I got like a B. I'm like, man, that sucks. But it's whatever. It's easy class. Then PSU, I'm like, who cares about a 4.0? So I started getting like C's, B's. Like I got a D. I'm like, that's fine. I'll retake it.
Yeah. Yeah, you just kind of realize that you can't do everything at once because I was taking full-time credits. I was working full-time. I was also involved in like the church and stuff and like I still tried to have a social life because that's like the number one thing that was going for me when I was 18. And yeah, I started not doing well in those. And then eventually it was kind of the same thing. I can't remember when it was. I think it was like 2018 or 2019. I took classes in the spring. Summer came around, and then when fall was coming up, I'm like, I don't really want to be a doctor anymore. This corporate thing is kind of working out. I got a bunch of promotions. Of course, they're like retail promotions, so they don't really mean anything.
Yeah.
But you don't really think about that when you're there. But yeah, I just never came back, so I never officially dropped out. I still get a bunch of PSU alumni emails and like all these invitations to events, but
you still get them?
Still get them.
I thought your account might have gone blocked by now.
I don't know. My email, I still use my PSU email for like 2 years after that until finally it got deactivated. But I had so many accounts set up under that email that it definitely messed me over.
There you go.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, because that was the same thing for me. Because it was like a school, I was like dedicated for school. I should have known from like a kid from a young age that I shouldn't have like, I don't know, that I shouldn't have gone to college. Like my newest realization, like the last, I want to say, maybe like a year, it's been like college isn't everything, just seeing how the world is now. And I'm not saying like, there's a lot of guys who make money off of doing random things or going into business. Like ever since I was a little kid, I've been into business, like entrepreneurial.
Yeah, you have.
Literally, I have some notes written down in middle school. I sold candy. Like I was making money in middle school.
I remember that.
I never not like exploited, but like elaborate on these businesses trying to do something. And I went to the engineer, like, you got to play it safe. You got to get a career, you got to get a job. Because parents always said, get a job, 9 to 5, get a degree. You'll never work a day in your life type of thing. And now I see the other side around. You get a job, you get a degree, get a job. You will work for the rest of your life until you retire. Business, yes, you'll work for like the next, 10, 15 years. But then you got possibility of like retiring, growing your business, kind of stepping back, letting your business grow.
You got options. You get choices.
You get options. You get choices now. And that's kind of been my new mindset for life.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you were always doing stuff. I didn't sell candy. I sold gum in middle school. Yeah. I remember I'd have my mom buy a box from Costco of like the extra packs. They have like 10 packs for whatever, like $15. And I'll go to school and sell them for like $2 a pack.
There you go.
Raking in that dough, man.
Yeah, that was me.
it was great, man. It was
I had Airheads. I buy like the big pack of like 40, I think,
yeah,
and it was like $7 back in the day, and I'd sell each one for a quarter,
yeah.
so I'd make like $14 on a
See,
box.
the thing is, you were like at least paid for your stuff.
Yeah.
I just had my mom buy the gum, and I didn't tell her what it was for. So I'd literally like sneak the gum like when she's not there, and then like we at Costco, I'm like, hey, I think we need some gum again. Like,
Oh, okay. See, my parents were for it. My parents were like supportive of me doing my business. I remember.
I never. I mean, maybe she would have, but
I asked like once, I'm like, can I kind of like slipped in, like, can I sell candy and make some money on, on the side? They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, thank you.
yeah, yeah. It actually started in elementary school. We used to get like these things called positive actions. When you did something good, your name would be written on it. You'd be entered into like a drawing at the next assembly. So I remember in like fourth grade, I think, I set up a little shop on my desk of all these candies. This grandpa used to come to our house and give me candies. So I'd have all these candies. I'd get whatever I have from like the kitchen drawer, and during recess, like everyone's outside playing, I'm literally setting up my little shop on my desk with like, oh yeah, this thing is 2 positive actions. This thing is like 3. So I like win all this stuff that, like, oh yeah, I won like a yo-yo or something like from the assembly. I think I got shut down.
Yeah.
The feds came, man. I wasn't paying my taxes, so
I never got caught. Actually, because I started my business about 7th grade, and you leave 8th grade. I'm pretty sure if I would have stayed for another year, I would have like hired on some dudes to sell candy for me. I was getting to that level.
I bet you were, man.
I was getting up. I remember that. Some good times.
I bet you were. But it's funny, like how, like you said, like you kind of, unless you have people around you that are like entrepreneurs or like, I mean, especially parents. Like I think as a kid, parents are the biggest like influences, right? If they're entrepreneurial, then you're probably going to be entrepreneurial. If they're doing a 9 to 5, that's all you really know. So like you just kind of go for the safe route, even if it's not like what really interests you.
Yeah.
Because I remember I had to go through that same thing. I picked civil engineering at some point too, I think in 7th grade, because I liked math.
Yeah.
And then you pick something else, and then, you pick something else, and then, you just pick whatever is safe, but you never really pick what's
No, yeah, and it's like, parents do a big emphasis, and mine, and I love my parents. I'm never gonna speak bad on it, but they kind of went the safe route. I'll explain later, but it's like, they both work 9 to 5 jobs, and they don't want to take risks. And you wonder about like, oh, why don't you guys like start a business when you guys came to America? Like all your other friends, all our other, quote unquote Slavic people, Russian people who started businesses. And I thought about it, and someone once explained it as like, check it out. Parents moved here, they got 4 kids. What do you think they're gonna do? Start a business that's might go belly up, or they're gonna get a job they're gonna provide for your family.
Right.
So you see parents like, oh, they're like, you're hating on your parents. You didn't do anything. You didn't start a business. You're not providing. They were doing the best they could do at that time. They both took minimum wage jobs, and they were providing for their kids for us. And I had that realization like maybe a couple of years ago. I'm like, dang, they were actually like doing stuff for us. And you kind of hate on them for like not doing enough and not starting a business, not doing something big. But, they were doing the best they could for us. So I got a lot of respect for my parents for that. That's like top of my list right there for respect.
No, 100%. 100%. Because like from that perspective, even me as I kind of get older and like I start getting more responsibility, like getting a house.
Oh yeah.
You suddenly start thinking about like, well, shoot, like no matter what, I have this house payment every month. So like I can't be as risky. Like I have to take my job more seriously. Like I have to have income coming in. And like that's just having a house, let alone having kids and like a wife and everything
house
like that.
Payment, you got 4 kids. You got to provide for 4 kids. Maybe your wife wasn't working. She's staying home with the 4 kids.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think your dad's gonna be trying to do? Some sort of like e-commerce business? I mean, I'm not. That's my first that came to my mind. I saw some TikToks, but like they're gonna start. I mean, this is back in the day, but they're gonna start a TikTok channel trying to go viral. You gotta make some money. They gotta provide.
Yeah. So you said quote unquote safe route. What?
Yeah, that's kind of my parents' route was like kind of the safe route, but I think like my brothers and I are trying to maybe kind of go away from that route, trying to do like business. I mean, we all work jobs. Like we all work in 9 to 5. Like I'm in trucking. My oldest brother is also in trucking. He's in the shop mechanic. Yeah. My other brother's in construction. My sister is in school right now. But yeah, it's like we all kind of took the safe route. But I think we're all trying to do like, I think from like across the board from a lot of my friends is like business and being self-employed is kind of like what we want to do. Because we've seen what the safe route is, and we want to go the other way. And I have some buddies, crazy to me. So they have their own business. They install doors, commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to him once. He's like, dude, I want to go to college. I want to get a degree. I want to get a job. I want to work 9 to 5. I want to know where my paycheck's coming from. I want to work 40 hours a week. I'm like, you serious? He's like, yeah, dude, screw this business stuff. I don't know where my next job's coming from. I'm like, bro, you're scaring me. Like, you're saying you want to work 40 hours a week for the rest of your life? He's like, yeah. I want to know where my money's coming from. That scares me because I'm like, I'm trying to do the other way around. I'm trying to go business route.
Grass is greener.
Yeah, I guess grass is greener on the other side. I mean,
sometimes like I remember for the longest time, I never wanted to go into like a sales or like a commission role, like a commission job, because I was always like, even though it makes no sense to me because I was like a teenager and I had no bills, but I still was like, yeah, I want to have a steady income. Like I don't want to, like I don't want it to fluctuate. I don't want to have like a low paycheck because I didn't sell stuff. And I always like had that mentality until one day I just decided to try commission job. And now it's like, I love it. I love the fact that like my effort dictates my paycheck. Like I like that aspect. And I think, in some cases, like, again, like it depends on where you are in life and kind of your experiences. Like maybe if I had a bad experience in my first commission job, I would never love it, but like it kind of worked out for me.
Yeah.
So it really depends. But I think it's like the new cool thing is kind of working for yourself.
Working for yourself. I mean, I talked to my brother and I've seen a lot of like videos on it. It's like I spoke to my brother about it. It's like we have so many opportunities. I don't know, translate how we spoke, but it's like we almost like because I forgot what word he was like. We kind of like we take in so much information. You're like, I don't know where to start. You can literally do a business on anything.
Yeah.
Like I was literally we were talking about it, like you're like we're not like overeating. It's like overstimulated about how much business opportunities you have.
How many options there are.
My brother's like, dude, you can literally do whatever you want. Literally, because he was giving me opportunities like in freight in the trucking industry and any other industries. Like literally get an idea, stick with it, watch some YouTube videos. Literally watch some YouTube videos, go on Google, research. You could probably start your business. You could probably be successful with it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's, like you said, like if you YouTube best side hustles or like new business, there's so many things. Like, there's so many things, like even the whole drop shipping thing. Like you never really thought about how much money there is in that.
I literally, my new TikTok stuff has been this guy doing like not drop shipping, but like, I guess drop shipping, selling on Amazon.
Yeah.
And you think about like, oh, that's stupid. You're not gonna make any money. Yeah. I mean, if you put the work in for it, I'm pretty sure it will work out. Cause for school, what was it to get an A in the class? You need to put in like what? 3 hours per credit.
Per credit hour, yeah.
So like if you're taking 3 credits, that's like, like
9 hours a week.
Yeah, whatever. Something like that. Plus like, like full time, it's almost like 40 hours a week of
right.
At home stuff. So think about it. Put in 30 to 40 hours a week of effort onto your side business, onto the business you want to do. I feel like you probably will succeed.
Yeah. And like that effort piece has to be there, right? Because, my first, like one of the first podcasts I did was with Michael, who had quit his job and started pursuing like, this entrepreneurial stuff, but he kind of quit it and like took a break, right? Because when you don't have a set schedule, when you don't have a show up and clock out time, it's easy to kind of like let your foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people say like, oh yeah, most businesses are going to fail, or like, oh, no one's ever been successful doing drop shipping or doing Amazon stuff because they try it for a day. Or they try it for a couple weeks, but they try it and they never put in their 100%.
Yeah.
I think if you're determined, man, I had a great episode with this guy Alex who was a firefighter, and it took him I think 6 years to become like a full-time firefighter, and he was putting in volunteer hours. He was working like 20 hours a week volunteering. Yeah, he was doing all these side things, and he was literally like almost cutting people out. I mean, the way he said it is, he was choosing like not to associate himself with some of the friends he had, because to become a firefighter, you have to have a very clean record. So like he was doing all these things because he was so dedicated and so focused on that goal. And he became successful, even though in that industry, the acceptance rate and the chances of getting into that are super low. It's like that with anything. Like if you're determined, you can get there. Obviously like luck plays a role, but hard work beats everything.
Hard work does pay off. And I think it's hard not to see, in my, like for my industries, I wanted to go into trucking. I want to do my own business. And I'm looking at some of my buddies who's been in the industry, I think 7 or 8 years now. And he has a big business, and I kind of lost my train of thought, but it's like, you got to kind of start and kind of keep with it. And you say, don't lose that momentum. Don't lose the thing. Cause like, I think I actually had a goal in my calendar. It was like January to begin working on my business. By June, have everything established. And from June, go already have my business.
Yeah.
It's, what is it? It is April 25th. How far have I gotten? I think like number 3 out of 20 steps into the business.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like for Michael said, he kind of quit his job to pursue it. That's like it would be like, what, a good push, like to go full time for your business.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a lot of responsibility. Like on his end, he had what, house payment, you have a wife. Did he have a kid at the time already?
Yep.
Yeah, a kid at the time. So it's kind of hard. Like for me, if I don't have anything, I can probably quit my job and try to go full time into business. But it is nice having that paycheck there just in case, backing up. So I think a lot of these businesses need to be kind of like a quote unquote side hustle until you can fully take it full time.
Yeah.
That's kind of.
No, and that's the thing is like, I've heard it said, like people say like, oh yeah, I can't do my business because I have a full-time job. And people say like, if you can't make it work in 20 hours a week, what makes you think you're going to make it work in 40 hours a week? Like, sure, you're going to have more opportunity to scale it and to make it bigger. But if you're not motivated enough to like use your extra time to grow that thing, you're not gonna get there. Yeah, man, like it's.
No, there's time. Like I literally, I've been like, people have like not exposed me, but like I'm thinking to myself, like, you want to put time into your business. I don't have that much time. I'm so busy, like I go work, gym, I come home, but it's like, what are you doing from like, cause I leave work at 3:30, go to gym. Somehow I leave work at 3:30, I go to the gym and I come home at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
What am I doing for like 6 hours there? Take like 30 minutes for your business, like 30 minutes for your idea, 30 minutes every day. It's going to be like, if you want to do Monday through Friday,
yeah,
like what, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 hours. That's at least something to like at least research your idea, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I guess it is tough to, you have to have an idea. You have to know like what industry. I'm not gonna be right here in trucking industry. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start an electric car company.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of stupid. You got to be kind of like
work your way up.
Into what you want to be doing. I can't swap it up and be like, you know what? I'm going to be manufacturing plastic forks. I wanted to make new plastic forks. I mean, you probably could if you want to like, I don't know why that came to my mind, but
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Thought.
But it's like, I was thinking about it earlier today. Like if you want to go into industry, it's kind of like, want to like, I don't even know what to say. I'm just thinking a lot about Elon today because Elon bought Twitter today.
But. Yeah. Big news. I bet by the time that this is released, that's going to be like something's like, we're going to regret these words. I don't know. Something's going to happen.
Get shut down.
I feel weird about this Twitter purchase. I don't know what's going to happen.
It's weird, dude. I mean, he personally financed it. 44, was it 44 or 45?
46, I think.
40, in the low 40s.
Yeah.
40 billion. Like, I mean, I don't know how he financed it off of SpaceX or off of Tesla money, but
that man, and I think out of like the last 5 or 6 episodes, his name has been brought up like 4 times, 5 times.
I mean, he's a successful man, and it's kind of like, it's hard to kind of like scale yourself next to him because he started PayPal. Like sure, like like it'd be like me and my buddy Andrew trying to start like a company. Like he's good at coding, I can be on the business side. We like start a company, working towards it. But he kind of like, it's like quote unquote, he got lucky because he made PayPal, sold it for like, he's like, yeah, I sold a company for 14 million. And then I started my next company. I'm like, yeah, you just sold a company for 14 million. You got the capital now. It's like me starting with my buddy Andrew and I want to make Tesla. He probably put a lot of money into that. Yeah. Because think about it, all the manufacturing, all the details, all the engineering.
Before you could even release anything and sell anything.
It's like, it's tough it's like that what is it? The entry level is super high for that.
The barrier to entry.
The barrier to entry is just extremely difficult for that. Like they're saying right now, like the new tech's going to be, it's like electric cars, chips, electric chips, phones, this like all this electric stuff. But it's like that cost of entry is extremely high for somebody like a nobody like us.
Yeah, and it's easy to like look at Elon Musk, who is light years ahead of us.
Oh yeah,
and like kind of motivate yourself from starting. I think it's Like that's not the right way to see it, but
Yeah, it's kind of.
like,
I guess that's a negative way to see. Like, oh, I'll never be him. Like, you could.
yeah,
But I was talking to my buddies. I'm like, I think if we were meant to be, you might not agree with me. Like, if we were meant to be billionaires in our lifetime, I'm pretty sure we'd be like very, very successful by our age right now.
what do you say? I might not agree.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you think we still could be. You still probably could be. You know.
Yeah, there's plenty of people out there. Like I know the classic examples are like Walt Disney. Like I think he was in his 50s when he became successful.
That's true.
The founder of KFC.
I was about to say KFC. He started like 65 or something.
Yeah, something crazy
Something
like
super
that.
old. Like he started a business, and time for us because like I'm 22, and it's like you're thinking like, man, if I start a business by 23, like I'm done for. If I'm not a billionaire by next year, it's just screw it, bro. It's no point in living.
Yeah, it's I think especially with internet and the digital age, like the opportunity to scale yourself very quickly is bigger than ever. I mean, like who was it? Was it Jake Paul that like hit like a record for how fast he grew his subscribers on YouTube? Like,
dude, hate on the all you want. They are some genius guys.
Yeah,
because even was it Logan? He started on Vine. They started on Vine.
They both started on Vine. Yeah,
and like I was reading an article like Vine was about to go away, and he knew Logan, the older one. He knew Vine's gonna go away, so he switched over to Instagram, slowly transferred into it. And when Vine went away, he was established on Instagram. And off of Instagram, and then he did YouTube. He's on TikTok, and then he started growing his career into everything else. And it's like off of nothing, off of doing 7-second videos, he's now a multimillionaire, business owner, boxer. Or was he boxing yet? He bought boxer, this and that, and it's crazy to think about that. Off of like quote unquote nothing on Vine to now this.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like I don't know about billionaire.
Yeah, not billionaire, but
I don't know. Like, I mean, it's rare. I mean, it could happen. I mean, I think about our CEO at our company and the founder. I think he was in his late 20s when he started the company because he was in law school, and he started in his dorm. He like maxed out a couple of credit cards with his co-founder. Started the company 2 years ago at IPO'd, and he's a multi-billionaire now.
Really, wow.
So like it's possible.
I think it depends on the industry you go to. Like if I want to be a window cleaner and I want to do my window cleaning business, you probably can't scale it to a $1 billion industry unless you go into like tech or something. Like, but if it's manufacturing, if it's tech, if it's whatever your company, I don't know what yours is.
Tech is
tech, I guess
software
tech. Then that's scalable to a multi-billion.
There's a lot of success that I heard that says that your income is correlated with how many people you can impact. So if you're a window cleaner, you're limited to that specific building you're working on.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're doing something that's digital, you can scale. Like you can be a YouTuber with 5 million subscribers, and that's a lot of impact compared to what a window cleaner can do. Right. Like sure you can do it the window cleaner way, but that's kind of the old fashioned method of like, oh, maybe I hire people on, I'll build a business. That's what takes more time. And I think, like the billionaires of the 90s, or not the 90s, but the 1900s were like, they took a long time to get there. I think now it's more possible. But obviously it's still hard. There's a reason they're billionaires. Yeah. It's because they're doing something that's right. But it's interesting.
I mean, there's opportunity to grow. I think you just need it's kind of, it's hard now thinking like, man, you want to start a business, but you're comparing yourself to like multi-billionaires.
Yeah.
Who are like,
you're looking at step 1 million instead of step
someone
1.
Someone said, if you're making, was it Gary Vee? He was saying that some people are like, I want to make $1 million a year. If you're making $1 million a year, you are like top. I don't know what percentage he said, but like I think making over $100,000 a year was like actually a really good, good income. Yeah, and people are comparing themselves like, man, I need to be making $1 million, and you're making like $10 million a year. I need to be making $100 million a year. $100,000 a year is still like, he's like, you're pretty well off compared to other people if you're in sense of business.
Yeah, I mean, it depends where you live too. If you're in California, it's nothing.
different story there.
You're like a Taco Bell worker if you're making $100,000 in LA.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, he was comparing, like a lot of people are comparing, like I need to make $1 million a year start. That's like to be a successful business owner, rich or something like that.
Rich. No, it's true. Like comparison can be healthy, but in most cases it's not, because if you're using it to like motivate yourself and like me personally, I tend to be kind of competitive. So if I see like a friend or a coworker doing really well, sometimes it motivates me to like do better. In some cases, you're like, oh, this guy is so good, I'll never be as good as him. so you don't start. That's kind of where like the line is of like comparison can be deadly, right?
Yeah, because the comparison is the killer of all joy.
Yeah.
And it's like you see successful people posting on their Instagram and stuff like that, like they're showing off their best life.
Yeah.
And you're like, they choose a section of their life and they're just showing like the best time. Like if I go through my pictures and I'll show you the best pictures, you know, of a day I had, of an event. That's my best day. That's not showing everything.
Yeah.
And you're comparing your life right now to someone's like peak moment in one part of their day. And you're like, you're just killing all the joy because, you know, you're comparing yourself to somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, kind of difficult there.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, you know what they say is like, you know, you see where they're at today, but you don't see the journey they took to get there, because when you're like slumming it, when it's 1 a.m. and you're like, whatever, trying to work in your business, whatever it is, trying to figure out ideas, you're not posting that on Instagram, and like people aren't going to get jealous of that. But they get jealous, or they get greedy, or not greedy, but like zealous of you when you succeed. But they're not willing to put in the work to get there. So it's, man, how did we get so in the weeds on all this?
I don't know what we're talking. We got sidetracked.
We got sidetracked. But no, this is all really interesting stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah.
But you were talking about your business and getting started, and you said you're like a few steps in. What are you trying to do? If you don't mind talking about kind of where you're looking to go.
No, I can't. It's a secret. No. No, I was in the trucking industry, like a lot of opportunities. So I worked on actually getting my CDL. That was like my first goal, was to get my CDL, mainly because
commercial driver's license
for those who don't know. Because they're changing. They had new rules coming out in February 7th about that anyone who wants to get a commercial driver's license and to drive must go to a driving academy for like 3 months and rack up like 180 hours of drive time with an instructor. The way I did it, I literally went out, got my permit. Like I read the book, studied a little, got my permit. Then I drove a bit on the yard, practiced, got a truck and trailer, scheduled my own appointment with some company through the DMV, went out, did a driving test, did a pre-trip. Pre-trip is like you inspect the truck. Drove with him. He's like, oh, good, you passed. And I got my CDL. Super easy.
Dang.
That was like my first step, just at least to get it in case I want to drive, in case I want to do my own company, in case I want to drive for somebody. But I was thinking maybe down the line, you know, get my own semi, maybe have a driver or drive myself or dispatch a truck, because like the money is decent if driving or you have a driver, or if you dispatch somebody, because when you dispatch someone, we usually work off of a 10% dispatch fee. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if most trucks are earning roughly $25,000 to $30,000 a month gross, 10%, so
passive income.
2.5. It's not very passive, but $2,500 to $3,000 a month per one truck. And one of my buddies, you know, he runs just of his long haul trucks that run, you know, to the East Coast. He's running 16 trucks. That's like, you know, 320,000. Is that a month? No.
Yeah, you said $25K per truck a month. So yeah.
I was thinking profit wise, so that's, shoot, I can't do my math.
Profit wise is 2,500. So
3,000 times, let's say 15 trucks at 2,000, 30,000 a month profit.
I was gonna be an engineer.
Yeah, I know, dude. I actually went through all my math classes. It threw me out. I was thinking 320,000 a month, but no, it's kind of high. But yeah, so profit wise is like, you know, 30,000 a month off of those trucks.
Yeah.
Kind of passive income, but it is also a lot of work to start your own business, to run it. If you want to do like solely yourself, the amount of work that goes on to you, because you're not just dispatcher, then you're like equipment maintenance, safety, HR, accounting, whatever else that might fit under a trucking company, you're all yourself. Paperwork, audits, I don't know. It's a lot of work. So maybe end goal would be try to do something myself, or continue working for the company I'm working right now and see if I can move up and make some good money there, or, you know, a couple other businesses working on.
No, it's crazy. I know my brother was telling me with his company, which I'm sure you know a little bit about, the trucking company. No, when he was starting out, his boss who started it, my brother was a second employee. Mm-hmm. I don't think his boss took a vacation in like the first 3 years of starting that company.
Yeah. And
Until he hired people on to like actually take people's spots when they go on vacation. He was just there.
That's my buddy too, because when he started it, he was driving himself as a truck driver. He was dispatching, I think, like 5 trucks at a time. And he's like, dude, I almost like there were times I'm driving. I drove, I think it was off of mile markers, like how many miles.
Yeah.
And it's been like 100 miles. Like, dude, I don't remember anything that fast. Like literally, either I fell asleep, I don't remember anything. That's how dead tired I was. Like I drove for 2-3 years to get the money, get the capital to start my own business. And now it's like 7-8 years in, he has, he got an office, bought a house recently. He has like a boat, his truck, everything, flexing here and there. You know, I see how he flexes. Bought his dad a Rolex for his birthday. But I mean, props to him, dude. He put the work in, he put the grind. He's like literally one of my a guy that I look up to in the industry because he's actually working hard for it. Yeah. But the money's there as long as we talked earlier. Like if you put time in, put the effort in, and you want to strive for it, that's like end goal there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, what can you talk about the other steps that you need to do?
I actually wrote it down recently just to see if I could actually make it work. Let me see. I had different business ideas. I had.
Ooh, you gotta hear those too.
A couple. Actually, one of them says get CDL, so that's checked off.
Hey.
Oh, here it is. Title in 2022. So, under a company, it was like file for an LLC.
Okay.
Pretty easy. Actually, it's on Google. It's like $100. You can literally go file. If you want to be multi-business owner, go file like 10 LLCs. Multiple business owner. There you go.
Hey.
For $1,000. Get an EIN number. So that's
employee identification number.
Yeah, you know what's up. That's pretty easy as well. That's like, I think it's free. Make a bank account. I'm actually already negative my bank account.
There's maintenance fees.
There's a maintenance fee. I wasn't able to transfer money into the Chase from my Wells Fargo into my Chase account because it keeps crashing, and it's negative like $15. So it's still kind of funny.
This guy, he's already losing money. He hasn't even started a business.
I'm already losing money. Get a U.S. DOT number. So you got to apply for it through Federal Motor FMCSA, Federal Motor Safety Carrier. I don't remember what the A is, but go through that. Then you apply for an MC, a motor carrier. It's like a motor carrier number. Then it says file BOC3. I don't know what that is. I'm not there yet.
It just says there.
It just says BOC 3, so I don't know what that is. Some sort of paperwork. Get insurance for the vehicle. The next step is find a vehicle. So find a truck or a trailer. Pay HVUT. That's heavy vehicle. I think it's like heavy vehicle tax, something like that. Register IRP and get your plates for the truck. Create an IFTA account. IFTA is the road tax and the fuel tax across the United States. Then it goes Oregon, Washington road tax, which I think might be under IFTA. Complete UCR registration. I don't know what that is. Drug and alcohol test. I think so you can be an employee. Usually you can drive on it. Set up a factoring company. That's like already further down the line for when you book a load. Factory company pays when you book a load, let's say for like $3,000, you can either invoice it and wait for the broker to pay, but most brokers take like 30 to 60 days to pay. A factoring company pays you the next day for like a 1% fee.
Oh.
Well, like 2% fee.
So it's like those get your direct deposit 2 days early.
Yeah, get your money. I mean, when you're running a lot of trucks, you don't want to get tied up with waiting 30 to 60 days for a broker to pay. And most brokers don't pay sometimes, and a factoring company keeps that in check. They'll let you know, like, hey, this guy's not paying.
Oh, so they deal with
it. Right now, we have a couple brokers. Like, I work with one company, and they're racking up like I think like $30,000 already. They're not paying yet. Dang. And they're like, oh, keep in track just in case if they're not gonna pay. They're like, you're racking up a lot of money with them, but they keep it all in check. That's cool. They're pretty good guys for like a 1.5% fee. Kind of nice. You get your money next day.
Yeah.
Then it goes like dispatch software. So that's kind of like to dispatch your trucks, to do your invoices. And then it says Outlook account. So set up an email. I guess that could be in the very beginning.
Yeah, I like how you get your insurance before you get your car. You set up your bank account in the very beginning.
I think I was going off of Google and I started filling in some stuff myself. But because like emails, like you can use your personal Gmail for a while, and then you can do an official company name, company email, which is not that crazy. Yeah, vehicle insurance. I guess find a vehicle first, then insurance. See, the reason I don't really want to go into it because like finding a vehicle is really difficult right now because the demand is very high and prices are very high. And if I don't want to go forth into actually starting a trucking company, I don't want to be paying the insurance on a vehicle. I think you can get really cheap insurance right now. It's like $500 a month. That's actually cheap for trucking industry. I think right now our company pays $1,700 a month per truck.
Wow.
So, high operating costs. And I'm like, there's no point in me paying this money if I don't have anything lined up for it. So it's kind of on hold right now. So that's just something I'm thinking of doing right now.
You already set up the bank account, so you're kind of in it.
Yeah, I set up the bank account. I mean, I actually logged in the other day and just double check. Maybe I didn't get screwed over or something, get some like fees on it or something.
Yeah. So why truck? Like, why did you decide you wanted to go into your own thing with trucking instead of something else?
Honestly, at first I was a little scared. I'm like, man, if it's not trucking, what else? And honestly, I also just thought about it right now. I'm like, if I don't follow through with trucking, what else is there for me? And I don't really know, to be honest. But as my brother put it, I'm in a position where it's almost like in my favor because I work for a dispatch company, first of all. My brother's a manager at the shop. I can get all my repairs done. I can get all my parts in. He also runs the parking lot, so I can get a parking space from a truck. He can help me buy a vehicle. Like he can help me find a vehicle, buy a vehicle. I know a lot of people in the industry that can help, set up all my accounts, do my safety, do my HR. It's like everything's almost in my favor. And someone's like, why would you not start a company? And also I'm young. I literally spoke with a few people and they're like, dude, what else do you have to lose? Like, go for it. Do it,
Yeah. It's like Gary Vee says, like, hey, if you're in your 20s, go ahead and move back in with your parents and just work in your business. You got nothing to lose. So
yeah, I had a couple people say, like, you got nothing to lose. Like, do it,
So what is, like, obviously, I'm sure the vehicle cost is, like, the biggest part of it, but, like, what does startup costs look like?
I think I talked to a couple guys, like, I mean, maybe if you get a cheap vehicle, maybe, like, 40 grand, 50 grand. I'm like spitting numbers right now because I'm just thinking main cost is vehicle, like getting, applying for DOT, MC, all that stuff, bank accounts, like that's a couple $100 here and there, insurance, but vehicle, you got to find something good, especially trailer too. If you want a trailer, semi-trailer, it's another like, if you want to finance it or if you want to buy it straight
I was going to say,
I just thought about financing. I mean, probably 40 or 50 grand. I had a couple guys that started with, I think he bought a truck for $30,000 straight up cash. It was during COVID. Trailer he financed it. It was 20 grand.
Wow.
Yeah, he actually got lucky. But yeah, that was his startup cost. And then probably want to have some cash set aside for, your monthly payments in case anything fails, in case, you can't work. I mean, that's probably accurate pricing right there, roughly.
Yeah.
Maybe more, maybe less. Oh, no, more. Maybe more, not less, but
yeah.
About 50 grand, yeah.
So, yeah, it's still high cost.
High cost, high level of high cost of entry.
Yeah.
High operating costs right now, especially with the way the market is, the way with fuel prices. It's a little crazy, a little hectic. But I'm kind of holding off on it, to be honest, right now.
Yeah.
Just because the way, first of all, fuel prices, the way the economy is with freight, it's just not in my favor. It's kind of like a negative way to look at it. Like, oh, it's not the time right now, which probably it is the time right now. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, even like with housing market, you hear so many people talking about how it's about time. We're waiting for, crash, all this stuff. I remember when I was buying my house, people were saying like, oh yeah, the prices are so high, and all this stuff. And now people are telling me I've been lucky I bought it when I did, even though it was like 6 months ago, because the rates are way up now. It's so it's like, yeah, you can keep waiting, but like, I don't know, at some point, like you kind of have to know, like, what do I have to lose if I start now? Like, sure, prices might be high now. Is that enough of a good reason for me to wait to start? Or is that just an excuse? Like, if I start now, even like with finally starting this podcast, I wanted to do this for, I think, like a year and a half, and I knew I wanted to get a house first, before I started it. And once I got a house, there was a lot of stuff I had to get it furnished and stuff like that, and like I kept kind of putting it off. And at some point I'm like, I just need to start it. And like within the span of like a couple weeks, I had all the equipment purchased. I could have waited. I could have waited to get some more stuff. I could have waited to find good deals and everything, and just kind of like buy it at the best possible price for me. I just said, I don't really care about waiting. I'd rather just have it now. So I just paid whatever I needed to pay for stuff, and I bought it, and it's here. I think I just started to realize, like I told myself going into this year, it's the year of like doing and just no regrets.
Yeah. I mean,
as cliche as it is,
they're like, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. When's the best time to do it now again? Now, like, when you're scared to jump off, it's like, you just do it. Yeah. Even with your housing thing, like I was thinking to myself, like, man, it was high house prices 6 months ago. How long has it been? 6 months now?
Yeah, November. So yeah.
6 months. Like, man, prices are so high, but it was low interest rate. You got pretty low interest rate.
Yeah.
What is it?
3.
There you go. Yeah. And now they're what, 6% now?
Yeah, like 5, 6.
And now you're like, bro, there's no point in buying a house now because interest rates are so high. You're lucky you got in so early. But 6 months ago, people were saying, man, that sucks. You bought houses for so expensive. It's so spendy. I don't know. It's like, seems like there's always never a good time. Even right now for people who wants to go into trucking or stuff like that, or construction, like, oh, market crash is about to happen. People have been talking about it for years now. It's like, sure, it might happen 6 months or it might happen in 2 years. Go ahead and,
Yeah. A market crash might happen, or you might get hit by a bus when you walk outside tomorrow.
Exactly.
Like, mights can, like...
I might not, might not make it out. And even the simplest things, like to actually just go out and do something. Like one of my like hobbies I wanted to do was screen printing tees, like making t-shirts. Yeah. And literally it was open in my Safari, like a tab, since last year of like November. No, not November, even earlier. Like it was been like at least 8 to like 10 months. And when did I buy my stuff? 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Finally started doing it. Like, it just as a hobby, just for fun. But it's like, I've been always like, man, I should probably buy it. And I mean, it's like $300. I think the kit was like $300 plus accessories, like $350. But what's the point? I'm always talking like, oh, I might start. I want to screen print some tees. And I got tired of telling people like, I want to do this. Look at these designs. Look at these ideas. When I'm not doing anything. So I finally bought it and finally started doing it. It's like a very small aspect of just do it. Just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. How did that go, by the way?
I haven't worked it. No, I started it. I've done four trial runs. Every single time it's been messing up. I was actually, before coming here, I was working on one of the prints, but it screwed up. I had to screw everything off and
screw everything off.
Like I had to scrape everything off and redo it. So after this podcast, I'll be back home and reworking it. Hopefully get design going tomorrow night, maybe.
Nice.
But
I'll send you my logo for that.
I got like three designs I'm trying to work on right now for myself. But
yeah, because you've always been pretty creative. I feel like art and stuff has been.
I tried to. I mean, here and there, but we went to art school for like what?
Big Nick went to art school.
4 years. No, not 4. Yeah, 4 years.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that. That's a part of my life we don't bring up.
No, but to that point, like you've been creative, so I feel like having a creative output is something you kind of need. Like, is that where the screen printing thing is coming from?
I just now came to the realization. Like, I've never had a hobby like, other than like I'll go like hiking, go outside. Like, this is kind of like a hobby for me because work has always been a big part of my life. Church is there, family's there, but it's like hobbies, what am I doing for myself, kind of for fun. Yeah. And this has been something I've been trying to start just for fun. Like, I'm making a design for myself. I'm making a company logo for my brother and I. The side company we're starting. And then I'm making a design for one of my good friends, Daniel. Probably make one for you. If you can come up with a logo, something decent. Make a couple for you. And, work my way up. I mean, eventually even taking that into a business scale, making merch for church, making merch for
church,
making it for other people, making it for like camps. If you can scale up, you know, I mean, it's kind of expensive to scale up, but possibilities even from just a little hobby like that.
Yeah, it's fun. My friend's wife, I think I told you about this, does that with mugs. And yeah, she even like makes custom mugs and custom designs if you want to send in something. And it's cool. Like it's fun to like have a mug and be like, oh yeah, like my friend made this. Like it's cool to support it that way. But then she also started to take it like, oh, you know, she goes to the nail salon and she talks to them about like their needs, and like, now you can kind of like start growing it a little like that. And if people like you and want to support you, you can make some extra cash doing what you like.
Yeah, and I was thinking even for the shirts, like if I can make good quality, and I was talking to some people actually from out of state, and they're like, oh, our church needs shirts for our camp. Like, would you be able to make them? I'm like, bro, chill out. Like, I can't even make a design work yet. Like, I can't make any shirts for you, but I'd be down. Like,
you gotta say yes, because then it's gonna force you into like.
I think was it Gary V's like, or some guys like, when the opportunity comes your way, say yes and then figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to commit. They're like, yeah, I need 1,000 shirts by next week. I'm like, shoot, like.
I don't know. I think school taught me this, but like I've always worked well like under pressure. Like, oh, I know this essay is due tomorrow, so like I have no choice but to write it today. Like,
been there, done that every time.
Even
every
when
time.
I had a month to do it, you know.
Yep.
But like I for me, I have to like put myself into like fake, like quasi deadlines or like those kind of things. Like, I tell myself like, okay, I have to get this done by this date specifically, even though this is just pulled out of thin air. It kind of forces me to do that. I think when you have too much time, you don't get anything done.
Yeah, actually, my buddy had an idea. So you would you want to have like a deadline for something. Like, you know, I need to make this design for this shirt by next week. My buddy had this idea as a joke for a business, for like an app, and it was if you take like an embarrassing photo of yourself, like your shirt off, like doing like a funny pose or something like that, you would send it to him, to this app. I don't know if I can phrase it right. So like, there's a deadline for like next week. If you don't complete your task by that week, he will send that photo to like your mom or something, or like someone. You choose someone who you wish you did not want to see that video. You wish someone didn't see that. Andrew, explain it for us.
So this is inspired by Nathan for You.
That's what it was. Yeah.
You make like a photo of yourself and give an address of somebody you don't want to see it, and then if you don't complete it by a certain time, if your approved person that's supposed to certify that this has been completed does not say that you completed it, it would send it automatically. Pretty cool idea. I haven't made it yet.
Yeah, I remember you told me about it a lot of times. Shout out to
awesome.
Andrew. Shout out to Nathan for You.
No shout outs on this podcast.
I'm just messing around. You can cut that out.
How did we get to
I don't know what we're talking about again. My bad, dude.
my dude? Just a different deadlines. Setting yourself.
So creative outlook, deadlines. Nathan for You, Andrew. Now.
No, but like, yeah, I think that's. I'm telling you, man. Like, if you tell yourself you have to do something, it kind of makes you. It makes you do it.
Yeah, I mean.
So what else? You said you have other business ideas.
This one is more of like, it started. I hate talking about it honestly, because like, well, I mean, we're going for it full force. I am a
man,
a rancher.
You're a rancher.
Because I keep bees. Bees are quote unquote livestock. So, same as a person who herds cows, I am a beekeeper.
Okay.
So therefore, I am a. What was the word again? I just said.
Ranch. How do you forget ranch?
I was thinking like livestockers.
Anyways.
Yeah, rancher. Anyway, so real quick, the business is I have bees. I raise bees. Like, I told my coworker
Nurse
about
them.
this. I've been doing it for 2 years, and she was like, "You're a what?" I'm like, "I'm a beekeeper." She's like, "You nerd. You keep bees?" Like, what? I'm like, "You didn't know?" She's like, "No, I never knew that." But yeah, so I have bees. I raise bees, and the main business model is you quote unquote lease it to farmers in California for almond production. Almonds need to be pollinated by bees. If bees do not pollinate it, almonds don't grow.
And you don't get almond milk.
Yeah, you can't milk the almonds from almond milk. Can't get your roasted almonds. But yeah, so they pay you right now. It's I think it's $190 per hive, and some guys take down thousands of hives for literally 2 months of the year, and then later on they take it to pollinating apples, oranges, cherries, pears, and they all pay you. Then also a byproduct of that is you make honey. Off of the honey, you sell bulk as well to there is some bulk buyer in Eugene, I believe, and they pay you money for as well. So it's like you get money from pollination, you get money from all the honey. You get bees when they grow, you can split them into multiple hives.
Mm-hmm.
You can sell the hives to people like hobbyists or other farmers. So you're literally making money off of all the things.
So different venues of
different avenues of revenue off of these. But along with it's like it's easy money. It's a lot of work. Honestly, it's like it's keeping an animal. They get sick. You're treating them. They have issues that arise. So it's a lot of work. But the not capabilities like the it's there. The money's there. The business is there. You just gotta kind of work
the potential
for it. Yeah, the potential is there for it. But yeah, we've been working on it with my brother Tim. 2 years now.
Shout out Tim.
We don't do shout outs here. But yeah, he started. He's mainly the inspiration for. He started with like one hive, I think 2 years ago or last year, and then we bought 20 more from one of my good buddies, Moses. Ivanov. Their dad was a beekeeper. We bought 20. No, it wasn't. It might have been from them or another guy. They all died in the winter.
Oh, the bees.
Yeah, so 20 hives.
Wait, the bees died, right?
The bees died, yeah. The bees died, yeah. So I think it was like 21 hives. 20 hives died.
I thought this guy was still like, yeah, my buddies gave me the bees. That was the last time I talked to him.
No, so the bees die. I think there was like $4,000 investment. So
Yikes.
$4,000. That's a learning curve there.
So you just had the one left?
Yeah, so we had one left. So what do we do next year? We buy 50 more.
Wow.
I think was it 50?
Wait, why did they die?
I think it was so there's like these like feeders we leave in the hives.
Yeah.
And they had their syrup, like their feeding syrup that we feed them with. And we left it in there, and I think the water evaporated inside the hive and condensed, therefore causing moisture, and they just kind of like drowned to death. Dang. I think.
But just the 20 you bought, not the one you...
Yeah, I think that one was still, I don't know. Oh, that's the one that we didn't have a feeder in. It was the only one we didn't put it in, so that one survived. So from that learning experience, like, dude, 20 died. What do? We buy 50 more. So we go out to another one of my buddies. We buy 50 more hives. We made it out this winter with 15 hives. So another...
Wow.
30. It was like 55, 57. And we got out with like 15 or 19. So pretty high loss rate. But we are working again. We teamed up with another beekeeper. Right now we're combined, him and I. So my brother and I and him were combined. We were at, I want to say 100 plus, around like 80 to 100 hives. And we're trying to go big this year, roughly to about 300 hives for this winter.
Is that normal though, to go from like 50 to 15?
A couple guys we talked about, I think their loss rate was like 30%.
Wow.
That's 35, but some guys brag like 10% loss rate. Some guys say 20, some guys say 30. We just weren't experienced enough because one guy that we're working with, he's been in the industry 15 years. So he knows all the secrets. He has all the like different treatment, different medicines for him. So we're just kind of going off of his knowledge. And I think we'll do a lot better this winter with his knowledge and his help, to be honest. But
wow.
Yeah,
Do you get attached to the bees? Do you miss them
Yeah,
when they die?
I got stung in the foot the other day. My legs all
Oh, so you
swollen.
literally physically got attached to the bees.
Yeah, exactly. They attached themselves to me. But yeah, it's still swollen.
No, but is that hard? Like when you like literally like you take care of 50 hives, and do they all kind of die out in clumps, or is it kind of one by one? They
I think so. I mean, because we check on them like once every week, every 2 weeks. So it's like you come up there like, oh, this one's dead, this one's dead, this one's dead. Next week, like you see 5 more dead. You're like, bro, it's kind of. It never really hit me. My brother gets really upset about it. I understand because like you do so hard. It hit me once. Like you put so much energy, so much effort into it. You're like feeding them. You're raising them up from like small little hives into big hives, and they just die. You're like
the whole hive at a time, right?
yeah,
like
just whole hive's dead. You're like, man, this sucks. Like money down the drain is first of all, it's like $250 a hive, $135 for a split, so $250 for a hive. That's money down the drain. But it's also like, what did I do wrong? You know, I got to learn from this. And it hit me this winter because like so many died. I'm like, that sucks, you know, like these big losses. But you got to learn from it and just, you know, keep striving to do better. But what are we talking about?
No, I mean, that's crazy. Like, so this is like another. Is this always going to be a side thing for you, or do you?
We're not sure, honestly, because you know I'm in trucking, possibly trying to go on my own thing into trucking. My brother's in not construction. I think it's is it general? It wasn't general contracting. It's like commercial. He's not an estimator, but he is a project manager, and I think he wants to stick with that company, along with growing the industry. You know, beekeeping.
Yeah,
we want to go pro with it, but it's like at least a few years down the line. There's no point in quitting our job yet because our total earnings from last year, as we're taking down to California, was about $1,000. How much money have we put in there? A lot more than $1,000.
Oh, so that's not bad. That's
okay. That's our profit. That's our profit from this winter. Like our paycheck was $1,000. Yeah, so it's like kind of sad seeing that money come in, but next year should be a lot better. You know, if knock on this plastic wood, but
hey, it's real wood. It's real.
No,
knock on this plant.
Knock on wood. If things go good, we will make some more money next year and hopefully start going positive.
Yeah.
Start being in the green or the red.
Being in the green. Yeah.
In the green. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another one.
That's another. Yeah. It's like such a big thing to explain that most of the time I try not to tell people about it because it's like. Beekeeping, you start saying like hives, splits, boxes, pollination. Like, well, what are you talking about? Like, so you know your own language for in that industry.
Yeah,
easier just to say I'm in trucking. You know, he's in construction.
That's cool.
That's easier. Cool. Yeah, but
do you have any businesses that you tried that didn't work out that from the past or what?
Longboards.
Oh yeah. BCL. I made
was it?
I made a logo for you guys.
What was it? Brothers
Custom Longboards.
Yeah, we wanted to. I made one actually.
I spent a day in paint trying to create a logo for you.
I never even
or Photoshop.
I don't think I ever saw it
because I thought I was trying to start doing more creative stuff in Photoshop. It sucked.
I made one longboard. I was like trying to work towards
from scratch or.
My dad brought me some piece of wood. I like got the design of it out. I cut it all out. Made all the screws for the trucks. To mount. It's somewhere maybe it's in my garage somewhere. I think my dad might have thrown it away, but honestly, it might be in the tool shed. But I made one, so that's one business. What else have we tried? I sold the candy, longboards. I wanted to do like a power washing business. I remember talking with your previous guy on the podcast, Daniel Baspali. Remember, I was 17. I'm like, bro, when I turn 18, when I'm like of age, I'd probably start like a longboard business, like not a longboard, power washing business. That'd be a good business. Never did it. I don't know what else I wanted to do. It's always been like a lot of different. Oh, another business my brother told me to do was it automotive painting or like painting semis? Yeah, like because he's like a lot of semis get into wrecks in the winter. They damage this, they damage that. He's like, learn how to paint. Guys will pay you, to repaint panels on their trucks, repaint this, fix this. Like, you want to do it. Haven't done it. Earlier, we talked about it. There's so many opportunities, and it's hard to, like, choose one and focus it. Because it's like, I can do anything I want, but choose one.
Yeah. I had this conversation with with my friend, who actually he has a band that I recently joined to play bass in for weddings. He's also just trying to kind of grow that, and he's trying to like write music and record stuff, and he's also doing a bunch of stuff at his church and work. It's pretty crazy, and he's like telling me, he's like, look, man, like recently I just realized that I have to learn how to say no. Cause like it's so hard, especially to like people and friends, and like that's super hard for me too. Like
Same.
like saying no to people, to like hanging out or just to helping out or doing things. Like I know I have a million things I could be doing, like especially with podcasts. I was telling you how much of a pain it's been editing stuff.
I can imagine. You're gonna have fun editing this one.
Like editing, like I know I could always be doing that, practicing songs, like doing stuff around the house. There's so many projects I want to do around the house, because I'm putting off finding a wife. But saying no is like, still anytime someone asks me something, like I'm just a people pleaser, and I just say yes.
I think before coming here, someone oh, my buddy was off-roading, and his car broke down, and he sent me a video, and I thought he was gonna ask me like, can you come help me out? And I was about to be like, I'm there, I'm going. I'm like, I have a podcast to be at, you know, like I was about to ask him like, hey, do you need help? I'll be there soon, like type of thing. That's, you know, emergency. But
yeah,
saying no, fear of missing out, bro. Literally hanging out with friends. Yes. The FOMO is super hard because you're trying to like, you want to go home and work on something, but like, I'm gonna go hang out with somebody.
Yes.
And I've talked with a lot of my friends about it. It's like super hard to explain, but it's like a lot of guys have their own, you know, path in life. And I'm trying to be, you know, with this business, and my buddy's, you know, he's hanging out right now because maybe he already worked on his business earlier. Like he worked on something in his life and he's chilling. But I'm trying to put aside my time to work on growing myself, to go hang out. It might be like a selfish way to think, like a bad way to think about it. It's like, I don't need to hang out, but if I'm always like, what's the word? It's like sacrificing working on something, working on myself to go hang out.
Yeah.
When are you going to be working on yourself? You're always like, I'm going to go hang out. I'm going to go do something. I'm going to go get food with them. When are you actually doing something for yourself? And you're looking back in the week and you're like, I didn't do anything. I was just hanging out all week.
Yeah. No, it's like you always say, it's like Elon Musk has the same 24 hours in his day as we do.
Pretty sure he has more somehow.
He hacked it.
He probably bought more time.
Yikes. No, but like, yeah, it's such a cliche. It's a cliche thing, but it's true. Like people have the same amount of time. Some just prioritize it differently. I've found with myself that I have to try to pack my schedule with as many things as possible. Like I try to schedule things, or I try to like figure out what I'm doing the next week, because I know if I don't, like I'm just not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like they say, like, you know, most people have some sort of like financial budget.
Mm-hmm.
Time is money. Do you have a time budget?
Ooh, I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's hard to schedule out of weeks like that. Like this week, for some reason, it's really busy. And it's like today I'm doing podcast. Tomorrow we have a meeting at church for camp. It was supposed to be Wednesday, actually, to move back. Wednesday I'm actually free. Thursday, Friday, Saturday we have this conference at a church.
So if I ask you for a favor on Wednesday, you can.
It's like Saturday's my mom's birthday. We'll probably be celebrating Sunday. Whole week's booked out. And it's like, it's hard to make time for everything. It's like, I want to hang out. I want to do this. I want to do that. But it's like, it feels bad sometimes when my friends like, oh, Nick, let's like hang out Saturday. I'm like, I got stuff to be doing. Like this Saturday we're working bees, you know. And my buddy's like, let's go fishing. I'm like, man, I wish I could go fishing with you guys, but I'm working on this. Because if I don't work on this, it's not going to succeed, you know. I guess like, you gotta find time for everything. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, eventually if you say no long enough, people start asking. So
yeah, and that's what one of my biggest fears was, like, I don't want to lose friends in the process of growing a business, because money isn't everything, you know. Money does not bring happiness. It makes life a little easier. It makes things easier, but it doesn't bring happiness. I remember working my job when I was a dispatcher. I'm like, I want to quit. I'd probably be happier making minimum wage, working at Chipotle, working like 15 hours a week, than I am working 40 hours a week, full time, 50 hours, 60-hour weeks as a dispatcher, making good money. I'd probably be happier making minimum wage because money does not bring happiness. I had that realization a while ago, but because you don't want to lose friends in the process. You don't want to be so consumed by your business. You know, we've been talking about business right now, but I don't want to be so consumed that I put aside my family, I put aside my friends, I put aside everybody to grind. I've seen a lot of people that post on TikTok like, you know, if your friends aren't talking about money or talking about business, why are you even hanging out with them? I mean, these have been my boys since, you know, 15 years. They're family. They're family. Literally, my friends are my family. I don't have a big family. Like I have my siblings and my mom and dad. I don't have many cousins. I don't have grandparents. So my friends are literally my family. I don't know why we went on that topic, on that tangent, but yeah, you don't want to lose friends in the process. You know, you don't want to be consumed by that.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of goes back to what's important to you. Priorities. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like we said this in the beginning, like business kind of gives you the opportunity to have those choices and prioritize what you want. If you're just working a very demanding corporate job, you don't have a choice to say, I want to go hang out with my friends. You just like, you have to work the hours. Like, and that's one thing that like I realized when I was pursuing becoming a doctor, I just realized like, if I do this, not only am I going to school for like the next 8 years or whatever it's going to be after college, not only am I getting in debt to go to school, but I'm also signing up for like a lifetime of like
doctors. It's like 12-hour days. Like they're long days. It's time consuming. Like imagine.
It's choosing your. You can't. You don't have that option of like building a business to a point where you can hire people on and buy back your time. That's the cool thing now with my brother's boss that I was telling you about. Now he's finally grown the company and now he's taking time off and he's living with his family. He has kids and he's seeing them like a lot more often now than I'm sure than he was when he was building the thing. That's the thing. You sacrifice a lot of time up front for, hopefully a payoff in the end.
Yeah.
And that's what, like that barrier of entry, not only is it financial, but it's also time. It takes a lot of time in the beginning, especially.
Yeah. And it's like, I was talking recently with one of my buddies. It's like, so we're now say in our 20s. Some of my friends, like they want to like kind of, like 20s, we're young. So I'll say both sides of the story. So we're young, we're chilling, let's hang out. We'll do like, we're working here, we're chilling. Later on, I'll do a career, I'll build my life up. Yeah. And then I can chill. And then I can like work. And then, work is, because I'll work for the rest of my life. Let's chill now, work later. The way I've been seeing a lot of sites is like work now, because you got no priorities. You got no wife, you got no kids, you got like, you live with your parents, or not you, but a lot of people live with their parents. They're paying for everything. You got like no bills, no responsibilities. Work on your business, put the time in, and then you can relax because your bills will be built. But then if you're looking at these two graphs, as you're working on your business and you're trying to grow, your friends are hanging out and you're missing out on all this stuff. And then when you're relaxing, chilling on your yacht, on your boat, you're chilling, you have time off, your buddies are all grinding, you're all working. So it's like you got to find that common ground to try to make it work. Because if you feel like, I don't want to, like for me, like I've been working since I'm like 16, like younger. And I feel like a lot of times I was always missing out. Like, I'd be working like weekends, like at Sears or like working here. Friends like, let's go like boating, let's go swimming. I'm like, I can't, I'm working 2 to 10 today. Like, can't call out. I don't want to call out. You remember the 2 to 10s?
Good old 2 to 10.
Yeah, it's like you can't call out, you can't do this, especially if you're starting a business. It's like, you think you're going to have a day off, you think you're going to go camping for a week with no cell service. Like you got to kind of, you're going to be working while they're relaxing. That makes sense. Like you got to find, I don't even know how to find that balance even, how to make it work.
Yeah, at some point something has to give.
Yeah, you got to.
That's the thing is like, even if you're so focused on the fact that like pursuing a business or pursuing the businesses you've talked about is what you need to do, at some point you do have to say no. At some point, like you can't, and at some point you might drift away for with some friends. But like one thing that I talked about with Alex on my last podcast was like, you are who you surround yourself with. Yeah. Like And in some cases, you have to find friends that are kind of pursuing the same things as you are and like sticking to them. And that's super hard. It's so easy to say, but like you said, like when you've had your boys for 15 years, it's hard to like turn away. And you know, you don't have to turn away. I'm not saying
not turning away.
You're just prioritizing, and you're saying like no to some things, and saying yes to other things that they might not be saying yes to.
And I haven't had that conflict really arise yet because we can hang out any day right now. But it's like with the OG guys that I've been like friends for so long, I know they'll be there. Like I know, like one of my friends said, Nick, if you step away for 6 months, if you leave, work on your business, you know I'll be there. Like you come back, I mean, it might be a little awkward just because I haven't seen you so long, but like I'll still be there. Mm-hmm. A lot of other friends, you know, they probably won't be there, but 3-4 guys that I keep close, like 2-3 actually guys I keep close, I know they'll be there in a year or two. But honestly, it's like, it's not that crazy with business or like with work. So you can still prioritize. Maybe you can like schedule a day like, hey, Tuesdays, let's like, if you guys are all free, let's find a common day we're all free. Let's like hit the gym together. Let's get food tonight. Let's do something. You don't need to, every night, every day. Cause you can still keep up, relationship with or friendship with them with one day a week, one day every 2 weeks if you're super, super busy. Yeah. But like you said, something has to give, you got to either sacrifice that time spent with friends to work on your side stuff, work on your own work, or you're going to sacrifice work time to go hang out with friends.
Yeah. And like it's not even business. Like it's with some people, it's going to be family. Like once we start families and stuff like that, like that's going to take priority too, right? Like,
of course.
So you're going to start sacrificing hanging out with the boys to hanging out with the family. So like, like I think eventually like something is going to give, and it's just a matter of when you want that. Like you said, do you want to be grinding then when you like almost have to prioritize your work instead of your family and your friends, or do you want to grind now and then be able to have more time with your family?
Even in school, like one of my buddies, Sundays after church, we're all going to go eat. He's going to go work on homework because this stuff is due Monday. I mean, you should have done it earlier, but like that's one of the negative things about me is like, I'll do it later. I'll go hang out with friends. I was always like sacrificing it to not do it. He was literally stuck. Like, I remember one day he's like, hey, we're going to be doing this. No, I got homework tonight. 7 to 10, I'm doing homework. Yeah. I'm working. Like, I'm doing this stuff. I'm like, dang, that's like respect. Like, because he actually prioritized that homework, that time to work on school stuff. Yeah. And I never did that.
I still remember when I took summer school, and none of my friends did. And like, they'd be doing stuff because it's the summer, and I was still working too at the time. And I'm like, I know I have a bunch of homework, but I'm sure I'll find another time.
I'll do it later.
I'll find another time.
I'll find some time.
That's the thing. I mean, when you don't really care about anything, and you're like, I don't mind sleeping 4 hours tonight to get my homework done.
Yeah, and then when it's like 11 p.m., you're like, you know what? I'll go to sleep. I'll wake up a little bit earlier. I'll do my homework in the morning.
Hey, I still got A's.
Props for you. Exactly.
I just remember going to the movies with them, and then everyone's like, hey, don't you have like class tomorrow at 8? I'm like, oh, I don't care. Let's go to see a 10 o'clock movie, and I'll figure it out. It's a little bit harder when you start aging. I already feel like if I don't get 7-8 hours of sleep, I can't function at 100% anymore.
Sundays, if I go to sleep super, super late, I remember once we got back to like 1 a.m. and I had to wake up at like 6 a.m. for work. That whole week, I was tired the whole week. I could not, for some reason, that Sunday screwed me up for the rest of the week. So Sundays, I would try to get like my sleep in. Tuesday, like Monday night, I go to sleep early. I can go to sleep late. I'll be fine for the rest of the week. Sundays, I don't know. It's like that start of the week.
You gotta start.
That just screws me over for some reason.
You gotta start right. Start right.
Exactly.
Well, that's awesome, dude. It seems like you got a lot going on. I'm excited to see if how things transpire with the business. I think you're really like a go-getter kind of guy, so I think it's gonna work out. Maybe it's not gonna be in the same capacity that you see it today, but I think that's the thing is like being willing to adjust on the fly. I think is super important when you're trying to do stuff in business and kind of be flexible, because you don't have a job description. You're just doing you're just doing whatever.
I'm just trying to work, just trying to see where it will go. Like have a couple goals, a couple visions here and there, but it's like I don't know what's gonna happen in 6 months, in a year, but just working towards it. Yeah, man. Well, dude, it's been awesome. I think you have a cool story. Like I said, I think we'll need to check in a few months and see where things are at. When you finally get through those 20 steps get something going, and
you finally stop getting penalties in your bank account for no money, and then
Exactly.
when you have money coming in. But I guess like any last thoughts or like any advice that you've kind of been thinking about or taken away from today's conversation?
Honestly, I don't know. We've been going through so much stuff. It's like prioritizing, because I've been like focusing on business. I feel bad almost like to not like, I don't want to neglect friends and family and people who helped me get to where I am. I'm not even a successful business owner or anything, but like friends and family are always there for you. But I think just prioritizing, like I'm very big on friends and family. So it's like prioritizing almost them first. And of course, like ministry, church, the Lord's first, that's all first. Like that's all on top, and then business is there. But it's like, I guess prioritizing, honestly.
Yeah, kind of knowing what's important in your life.
Prioritizing what's like, put it for yourself, what's important for your life. What do you want? What are the goals you want to achieve? And like, I think just strive for it and work.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of goes back. I always think about like the saying of like, hey, if you want to know where someone's heart is at, like see where their money is at. Cause you know, like where people spend their money is where their heart is at. I always think about the same way in terms of time. Like, what do you value? Because your time's more valuable than money. Where are you spending your time? What are you doing with it? And that'll kind of dictate or really reveal what's most important to you.
100%.
So that's awesome, man. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Please.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Please follow Nick on social media and see his journey where he goes. Nick, do you want to shout out anything?
I think we've done enough shout outs today.
Well, I'll put your links or whatever in somewhere in some way people will find you.
Awesome.
So be ready for that influx of followers to watch you on your
I'm ready.
on your journey. They're gonna one of them is gonna be a manager at a warehouse and is gonna call you when you start your business. Man.
I get to be an influencer finally.
Hey, please subscribe and rate. I haven't said it yet, but I feel like I should start to because it's what people do. So subscribe and rate to this podcast. Check it out. And we'll have you soon. See you next time.
Awesome. Thank you.